British journalist Jonathan Sacerdoti appeared on Fox News on Sunday morning to discuss the legacy Queen Elizabeth has left behind and how the nation was deeply respectful of her. Mr. Sacerdoti discussed what King Charles' style as monarch will be and how the new king will have to discover his own way of connecting to the British public through his own personality. During the news segment, Fox News was following the Queen's coffin live on air as it travelled in Scotland from Aberdeenshire to Edinburgh, where members of the public will be given the chance to pay their respects at St Giles Cathedral on Monday. Royal commentator Jonathan Sacerdoti appeared as a guest and spoke of the Queen and the impact she had on Britain. He said, "The fact that people are just so deeply respectful of her, even if they weren't necessarily monarchists in the first place, shows just what a good job she did and how tough it will be for Charles III now, who has to follow in her footsteps. Because he doesn't need to replicate what she did, he needs to do his own thing. He needs to find a way to connect with the British people just as she did through his own personality, and they have very different personalities." Jonathan Sacerdoti has said the new king must find his own style and not replicate the Queen. Image, Getty Images. Mr. Sacerdoti also noted that the Queen came to the throne very young, which meant she was something of a blank page to the general public. He said, "People didn't know much about her personal views, and really there was no opportunity for scandal or details of her private life to have gotten in the way as happened, sadly, with him." The journalist compared this to King Charles, who had an enormous amount of intrusion into his life early on, which meant that the British people know not only what he thinks on various issues that he's been outspoken on, but also intimate details about his own private life. Mr. Sacerdoti added, "I think that's been damaging to King Charles in the past, but now this is an opportunity really for the nation to move on." Read more. Meghan and Harry's decision to bring Archie and Lilibet to UK. The journalist said people are deeply respectful of the Queen. Image, Getty Images. Mr. Sacerdoti said the public are paying their respects to both the Queen and new king. Image, Getty Images. He said, as they pay their respects, as we're seeing now, to the Queen, they're also actually coming out in public to really support the new king. The admiration she had was, yes, in large part because of her own personality and style, but also, as she always seemed to know, it was a respect for the crown, just as much as if not more than it was for her as a person." Mr. Sacerdoti highlighted the respect for the crown, and how a new monarch must make sure their personality doesn't overshadow their responsibilities. He said, "The challenge of that role, I think, for her and now for King Charles is to make sure the personality doesn't eclipse the role." Don't miss, fond farewell to Queen Elizabeth II as a new reign brings hope. Insight. William pledges to serve with humility and great respect. Report. Meghan Markle snubbed by mourner as royals greet people. Reveal. Trending on Sunday, the Queen's coffin travelled from Aberdeenshire to Edinburgh, where a vigil will be held. Image, Getty Images. It is the crown people have the respect for, and the person who wears the crown. The person who is the monarch needs really to capsule the values of that role and to carry out the duties Queen Elizabeth did so perfectly during her very long reign. King Charles will travel to Scotland on Monday with the new Queen consort Camilla to begin the start of his royal duties as Britain's monarch, where he will meet with Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. In the evening, King Charles will hold a vigil with members of the royal family at St Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh to mourn the passing of Queen Elizabeth. On Tuesday, Princess Anne will accompany the Queen's coffin from Edinburgh to London, where it will travel to Buckingham Palace.